Alrighty, I saw this short little video on the X. Apparently this white woman, she wants white people to be enslaved to make things even. Well, I'll pop in the short video and take it from there.
It should be fair. Should we run slavery back, but on white people this time to truly make everything fair?
No, because were you enslaved?
My ancestors enslaved people.
Okay, but did you enslave people?
No, but I benefit.
Okay, were you a slave? No, I never enslaved people. You were never a slave. You were never a slave. You were never a slave.
That would have killed me.
Do you know me?
I don't, but you're a baby.
But I'm.
So yeah, this white woman, she wants to bring slavery back, and she wants it for white people this time to make everything equal. I can think of 3 problems with that. 1, the simplest. People will cry and complain that, oh, it's the modern 21st century. It's not the same. And they'll still complain about slavery. 2, the U.S. literally fought a war, civil war, to end slavery. You're telling me that the descendants of the Republican Party, the people who fought to end slavery, their descendants are now going to be enslaved to make everything fair? Here's what I found when I Googled the Republican Party. The Republican Party was formed in 1854 primarily to oppose the expansion of slavery in the U.S. territories, especially in response to the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which would allow new territories to decide the slavery issue through popular sovereignty. This act reunited national tensions over slavery and led to the collapse of the Whig Party, creating a political vacuum. Anti-slavery activists, former Whig Free Soilers, and some anti-slavery Democrats, keyword some, united to form the new party. They were driven by a shared commitment to stop slavery's spread, encapsulated in the slogan, "Free soil, free labor, free men, free Republicans." The party quickly gained strength in the North. Formal establishment occurred on July 6, 1854, at a convention in Jackson, Michigan, where the coalition adopted an anti-slavery platform. The party's rapid rise culminated in Abraham Lincoln's election in 1860. Wow, it was formed 6 years prior to Abraham Lincoln's election. They gained power really quickly. Slavery must have been really unpopular. You're telling me that to make everything fair, the descendants of all those people are now going to have to suffer? That's liberal logic for you. So my understanding of the Civil War, you had North versus South. In the South, you had pro-slavery Democrats. So here's my thought. This woman, she's a lefty. She wants white people to be enslaved to make things fair. Well, seeming as how it was pro-slavery Democrats that fought against the Republicans, I'm going to say, hey, Democrats, you do you. If you want to make things fair, you do you. But we all know that this leftist woman, she would never do that. She would never practice what she preaches. Oh, and here's a bonus feature I found. The U.S. government literally founded a country for freed slaves. Liberia. The American Colonization Society, ACS, supported by the U.S. federal government, established Liberia in the early 1800s as a colony for free African slaves, Americans, and formerly enslaved people. In 1819, Congress authorized federal government to fund the project, allocating $100,000 to support the resettlement. $100,000 might not seem like much in today's money, but that was in 1819, so you got to adjust that. The U.S. government provided more than $250,000 in taxpayer funds to the ACS, probably on top of the $100K. By the mid-1800s, Presidents James Madison and James Monroe supported the initiative, with the capital city Monrovia named in Monroe's honor. The ACS transported over 12,000 African Americans to Liberia between 1820 and 1860. Outcome: Liberia declared independence in 1847, becoming the first African republic founded by people of African descent. The U.S. government did not formally recognize Liberia until 1862 during the Civil War. The U.S. continued to provide aid and maintain diplomatic ties with Liberia until 1990s. They talk about how, despite the financial and political backing, the project was controversial, with many African Americans rejecting forced relocation. Well, if you could reject relocation, is it really forced? Today, about 5% of Liberia's population is descended from these U.S.-funded settlers. So, as I was learning about Liberia, I Googled some more about it, and here's what else I found. Founding and legal status. Liberia was established in 1847 by free African Americans and was the first African republic to formally ban slavery and the slave trade in its constitution. That's nice. It was founded as a refuge from slavery in the United States, and its early leaders rejected slavery in principle. Forced labor and exploitation. Despite this, indigenous Liberians were subjugated to forced labor systems from the late 19th century onward. So yeah, it's forced labor. It's not slavery. These included corvée labor, convict leasing, and forced recruitment for road construction and plantation work. In Liberia, I think the plantations were like rubber plantations, because rubber came from a tree back in the day. The system was particularly oppressive during the early 20th century, especially under President Charles D.B. King. 1930 Christie Commission investigation and the League of Nations investigated Liberia in 1930 after allegations that the government was selling its citizens into forced labor on Spanish plantations in Fernando Po, now Boko, Equatorial Guinea. The Christie Commission found widespread abuse, including the use of grape camps. Really? They literally had camps just for grape? Good God. Forced labor and systemic intimidation of indigenous populations by the Liberian elite. Legacy and abolishment. The forced labor system persisted informally for decades. Formal slavery was not abolished until 1962, and the practice continued in various forms until the 1980s. Wow. The exploitation of indigenous people by the ruling Liberian class created deep social divisions. Yeah, I bet. That contributed to the 1989 Civil War. Yeah, so in summary, this white woman, she wants white people to be enslaved to make up for slavery. After learning about Liberia, I'm gonna go with no thanks. I have zero guilt. Why? Liberia was literally founded by the U.S. government for freed African American slaves. And what did those slaves do? They immediately started to enslave the indigenous black people. In other words, they went right back to doing what their ancestors were doing for hundreds of years, enslaving other black people. Oh wait, it was called indentured servitude, not slavery, right. Well damn, I just realized something. That video clip with the woman was only like 20 seconds long, and I managed to make a 9-minute video. Okay, I went on a bit of a rant there. Well, anyway, take care out there in clown world.